Welcome back, guys. Welcome back to the channel. So welcome to our first official video. Today we're going to be talking about our parenting journey. Glad to have you all here with us while we share some interesting stuff in the journey we've been on. And just an FYI, it's been a long day again. Every day is a long day for us, and we attempted this video twice already, and we're just trying to get good content rather than the bad quality. So we've done it quite a few places, but we weren't happy with it. So here we are, and I hope you guys enjoy. We're going to try our best to keep you guys entertained, even though we're tired, always tired. But yeah, here we go.
Okay, so when deciding whether to get pregnant or not, I for one was not sure if I was ready, and
yeah, I also wasn't entirely sure. I mean, in the front of my mind, I was like, yeah, no, I'm ready.
a kid would be cool.
Yeah, we were content, with the marriage we shared and the things we went through. We felt as though, now's the right time. Okay, cool. Plus, I'm getting old. I'm not old, but you just do the calculation, thinking about when your child is this age and what you're gonna be like. And I didn't want to be a granddad to my child. So yeah, so we thought about all of that, and it put us in a position where we said, okay, fine, we're ready to have kids, and we can't be selfish because we just love our marriage and our life. We couldn't be selfish, so then we tried to get pregnant.
Yeah, we tried, and that first month, I took a test, and there was like a faint line, but then it was obviously negative. And
which saying faint line, she could only see that faint line because, I mean, literally she used to hold it like this here, and I don't know whether
I didn't know what to expect. You think I take pregnancy tests all the time, and also I made I took a picture of it and I put it in black and white, and I swear there was a line, but only in the black and white picture.
Do they say that on the box to go and take a picture and make it black and white? Anyway, so we couldn't see the line, but okay, I couldn't see the line. She was just paranoid, and then after that we tried again. And
we were depressed.
Oh yes, yeah, sorry, yeah. So once we realized we weren't pregnant, it sort of hit us, and that's when we truly knew how we felt about whether we wanted a baby or not, because we were disappointed and just disheartened that we weren't pregnant. So she was crying and everything.
Yeah. Also, in the back of your mind, you don't ever know if anything is wrong. It's your first time trying. You want a family and stuff. You don't know how long it's gonna take. You don't know if there's gonna be complications. I was just paranoid that I didn't fall pregnant in that same month. I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna have so many issues. I swear it's real. We didn't even speak about it, but
just I think you thought it just happens.
Yeah, no, I knew it couldn't just happen. There was it only some people speak about it, rare number, but I expected to be part of that.
Anyway, so after we realized we really wanted kids, then it was sort of a month after that or so that we assumed that we're now pregnant again. So we bought the tests, and we bought two, and she took them, and they had the line, and I could see the line this time, and yeah, we were excited. We said this is real, and
we'll put up a picture now for you to see.
Yeah, so whilst we were really excited, doing the test on our own and seeing that we were pregnant, we just needed to confirm it. So we went to the GP, and he did a urine test, and where it also showed that it was sort of faint, and he said just to be sure and be 100%, he's going to do blood tests for her. So yeah, so then we did the bloods, And while she was at work, I was waiting for the results over for him to phone me. And I messaged him and I told him, look, you need to tell me ASAP and so on. So then he told me, and I called her and I told her, look, we're pregnant 100%, and we were just thrilled that we were pregnant. And then we wanted to see, because with pregnancy, all is the scan. You see the baby, okay, right? And for newbies, we obviously didn't know that it's too soon and after how long and so on. So we went to a GP that actually had those machines where you can do the scans, and he did the scan. You can.
He did an external scan, and he basically picked up like a small speck, and I don't know why people open their mouths, but he freaked us out and he was like, I see something, but I'm not too sure if it's growing in the fallopian tubes. It could be an ectopic pregnancy. And that freaked me out even more. Me knowing that I could have problems and all of that, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
So I was just depressed, and he was like, you need to see a gynae like now to find out. And he made an appointment for us. I had my own gynae at that point, but I couldn't get availability, and he said it was urgent. So he booked us with Dr. A.K. Ismail at Shifa Hospital.
So yeah, on that as well, I think that's one of the reasons why, when you find out you're pregnant and if it's too soon, there's a certain duration that you have to sort of wait for you to go to see a gynae, because then that's when they can see things properly, instead of going to a GP like that and just doing a scan where it sort of gives you that type of detail and puts you under that stress. But we are glad that we actually followed that route and did all of that, because when we went to the gynecologist the next day, I managed to sleep the night before. She didn't, but I was like, what's meant to be, it's meant to be, and we just need to keep positive. And it was really stressful from the onset, because first we were sort of uncertain about the pregnancy, and then now this GP tells us that it could be going in the fallopian tube, so much risk associated with that, and she's like just an issue most of the time. So aside from being crazy, so the next day we went to the gynecologist, and he did the internal scan. As he was doing it, this is where it got interesting, because this is he was checking on the screen, and we were there. It's the first time we really, in a proper gynae. Okay, not the first time. We've done it before, but like, knowing that we're pregnant, and we wanted to know that everything was fine with the baby and stuff. So yeah, so you ready to go through this again? But yeah, he was checking, for that speck, and there's like a fine circle around the speck, which shows the baby that's forming, and then the fine circle is the sac. So as he was checking, then he brought it up in clear view, and we could see it, and he was like, no, there's the baby, the sac is there, all good, he's happy. We looked at each other, and we
were like, had like a sigh of relief, like, you don't know. And we were like still in that moment, like looking at each other like, oh, we're gonna be parents, and like having all these thoughts and making like googly eyes at each other.
And
we noticed it was like 2 or 3 minutes, and this dude is like still staring at the screen.
And he's busy checking, and we just took it for granted that, like, he's checking other things. I don't know the walls of the womb. I don't know what he's looking for, what they see. But I was just happy to know that the baby is fine. Then, just a few minutes after we sort of formed that relief, he says, I think I see another one. And then if someone tells you that in that moment, you don't even hear what's being said. So we didn't even hear, like, I don't even think we acknowledged it. We didn't look at each other at that point or whatever. I can't even remember. But then I think he really wanted to make sure. So he just a few seconds after, he was like, no, I definitely see another one here. So there's 2. Then we looked at each other, and we were like,
What you said?
Like, sorry? Sorry, you said 2. You said 2? You said, yeah, definitely 2, yeah?
I think
And-
I even like did this like in the room. I swear.
And there's 2 things that I want to share about this. Is that the one, he was so chill. It's like it happens all the time. Like, oh yeah, there's 2, yeah. And for us, he was so natural about it. He wasn't even like, there's 2 here. It's freaking 2 babies here. And because it's not what you expect, like, you know. Anyway, we were just in shock. And just something on a personal note, what was going through my mind is that one of my cousins actually said this before, and he says, no, you guys, you're definitely going to have twins. We're waiting so long, you're going to have 2 one time. And we were like, haha, yeah. And then a while after that, someone else actually told us that as well. And then it came up everywhere. But, you know, it's just by the way. And then when doctor told us that it's from a doctor that's telling you you're having 2 children, then we're like, oh, no, this shit's real now. You know, it's not just someone saying it, it's real. So yeah, when he said that, we just kept quiet. We chilled. And then he took us to the office. Then he just spoke on a few things. And we're still reeling now. We never even say anything. We never look at each other. We never touch each other, nothing. I didn't hold a hand, anything. And then he says, no, so everything's good. But he's just, just bear in mind that in this early stages, these things can happen where one twin absorbs the other. So they take all the nutrients, everything, and they just get absorbed into one, and then that's where you have one baby.
And
so
that's called twin-to-twin transfusion.
Yeah. So having that in front of our minds as well, we didn't know what to expect, and it's early stages. So there's a lot of stuff going through our heads. Yeah, I mean, that's the first time we've seen our babies. Like, you know, it was crazy. And we didn't know what to expect, because at that point when he told us we're having 2, we wanted 2. We like, okay, we didn't talk about it as yet. But I know the way I felt was like, you know, after him saying that they can get absorbed into one, it's not something that I wanted to happen or even could think of. Much as we are expecting one baby, hearing that we're having twins, it was like just thrill and overjoy. It was shock.
Put up a picture now for you to see.
Yeah. When we left the room, we were in so much shock that we walked, I think, like a meter apart, and we just walked like we were controlled by whatever, because we just walked. We didn't look at each other. We didn't speak. She jumped in the car. I lit a cigarette and I stood out the car.
And I was just like staring at the scan, like.
And we were just like there in the parking lot. We didn't say a word to each other from the time he really told us, you know, that we're having twins, and after we looked at each other at that point. So
how we entered that room and how we left were 2 completely different people.
After I smoked my cigarette and after she sat for like 5 minutes, we then, you know, sat in the car, and I can't even remember what we said. I don't even know what we said to each other, but we were like, you know, we like acknowledged that we're both in shock and this is what's happening. We have twins, you know, and we wanted to share it with, you know, the parents and stuff like that. So we video called them, and when we video called them,
we like showed them the scan. We were like, everything went well, and this is how it looked. And like a few of them, like a few people were like, oh, looks like 2. We were like, yeah, that's because it is.
and the other people, they couldn't tell what they were seeing, so they were like, oh no, everything. And just remember, they were concerned about, you know, that the one baby is fine, because we told them about that previous scan that we did and what he said and stuff. So they just wanted to know that the baby is okay. And then when they saw the scan and we were chill, so they were like, oh, okay, everything's fine. Oh, okay, nice, whatever. And we're showing them the scan where there's 2 there, and obviously you can't see because it's just, you know, abstract stuff. So yeah, and then we had to tell them, look, can you see something else there, like nudge, nudge. But everyone was psyched, thrilled, and we told them about the concern about the fusion thing. So yeah, we just sort of prayed for the best, and yeah, that was when we found out those first few moments.
I think it's important to just say here that this is where everything took a turn, because we planned ourselves so well. Like everything was like, this is how it's gonna be. We're gonna get pregnant here. We're gonna have one baby. In a few years, we'll see. And every time someone asks me like, how many children are you gonna have? My answer always used to be, I'll see how I manage one first. And boom. You know, like.
So as soon as we found out, we obviously, being in the first trimester, we wanted to do as much research as we could. You know, naturally, even if you're just pregnant with a singleton, you just want to do as much research as you can, so you know what to expect and you're prepared and stuff like that. But I think I took it as if I was studying, and this was like a whole year of studying for me, because I wanted to know every detail, just so that, you know, there's sort of some form of control from my side, as much as I was out of control of the situation. So I did as much research as I could, you know, knowing that it's twins that we might be having, you know, bearing in mind the fusion thing. And we were just, as we went through those visits, we sort of found that, you know, we're having both of them. So yeah, along with that, I think it's there's not many people, or there's no one that we knew that was having twins. So there's no one that could share that advice. We took as much as advice as we could from all the mothers and fathers out there, where they shared their stuff with us, and you know what to expect, what we're going to go through. And yeah, I mean, we knew that there was going to be some sort of difference as we went through it. So I wanted to be prepared for that. And also, I think the research was mainly because those doctor's visits, and after the first one, you know, you sort of had that stress because you didn't know what's actually going on.
So we found out at the end of Feb, and I think we were like a month along, and boom, on the 5th of March, first COVID case hits SA, and everything just goes crazy. Lockdown happened, and then we just started freaking out, because like everything that could go wrong started going wrong, you know?
Yeah, so we obviously preemptively we are thinking about, you know, what's going to happen down the line. It's lockdown now, and how do we go for visits, and like how, you know, the safety of everything and the safety of her, and did this happen before? Did they do any research where, you know, there's a pregnant woman that had COVID, would it go to the baby? And it's like freaking, we had to do like double the amount of stress and research. We just had to deal it. But I mean, we actually managed to go through that rush of what the country was going through, and yeah, and then
yeah, like I was at home. I started working from home, and like after that first month, it just got crazy. Like I couldn't even function. I don't know what happened, but everything that I started feeling was crazy. Like I had nausea. I suffered so bad, guys. I can't even begin to explain.
Spewing everywhere, throwing up wherever we were. She couldn't come in the car because that was like her like kryptonite. She like, as soon as she got in the car and we drove, even if it was like just down the road, she was like, I can't do this, I'm feeling sick. I was like, did you bring your water bottle? Did you carry water? She's like, no, unprepared, always.
You used to like play games on the TV, and like if I used to watch it, I used to start like feeling dizzy because I used to see everything moving so fast. I'm like, what is going on with me? Then I couldn't eat anything because like even a glass of water would just set me off, and I'd have to go. And I still make this joke up until today, but I tried so hard to lose weight before I fell pregnant, and then I did. And in that first trimester, in the first 4 months, I lost 5 kgs, just boom, just like that, because of not eating. And I was like, oh my god, all I needed to do to lose weight was to fall pregnant.
So, so it was crazy. But I think you found that it's like sort of full circle, and you can't really win because if you eat, you want to throw up, and then when you throw up, then you're hungry and you need to eat to take medication, and then you can't because you're gonna throw everything up. It's full circle. So yeah, I mean, you took the tablets.
Yeah. So my case, I was like, it was so severe. My doctor actually prescribed these tablets. It was called ASIC, and it helped. I was living off of it. It obviously saved me in pregnancy, but best thing ever. I was taking it every single day, along with my Ferimed, which was for anemia. So I suffered really bad before I even felt pregnant with anemia, and that was like my biggest concern for the pregnancy because I couldn't even feed myself properly. Then I was worried about feeding one baby properly. Now there were two and myself, and I'm like, oh my gosh. But yeah.
Anyway, moving along. So yeah, I mean, along with that, you were tired and stuff. You were tired.
Slightly, but I think it was more because I was so sick that I just needed to sleep it off. So I kept going to the bed. If I wasn't throwing up, I was sleeping. And then I started crying. Like the first 4 months, I was just crying. I was like, I can't do this. Can you imagine? And then I read multiple pregnancies in multiples. You just throw up, like it can go out throughout your whole pregnancy. And I was like, I've been suffering with everything here. Can you imagine going 9 months like this?
I think the worst thing was also that she did her own research, and every bad thing that she saw, she was like, oh my God, this is happening. There's some things that she went through that definitely, it's something that when you're pregnant in the first trimester, you have to go through. And just to note as well, it's not that just talking to the people that might be going through it now, is that, it's different in every situation or every scenario with everyone. So it might be different for you. For her, it was interesting, but yeah, I mean, I hope that everyone that's going to go through it, they sort of manage, because if in some cases there's a lot else that can happen and you can go through. So yeah, like I said, do your research. Do as much as you can, have each other's back, support, and yeah.
Stay strong.
So as we were going through the first trimester, we obviously had to go to the gynae often, and it was more regular than the normal singleton pregnancy. And as we went to him, now that sort of lockdown was on, yeah. So we had to sort of follow protocols and stuff like that there. So we had to do that online symptom check, go there, take your temperature reading, and it was freaky because we don't know how this virus was and stuff. So we're like sort of protective and just really paranoid. And and then we went for our visits, and that's when he shared with us a bit more detail on how the babies are doing. And
then he told us we were having identical twins. There's 3 different kind of twins. The first, the low risk, is when... Why is there
I'm tired.
It's when each twin has their own placenta and own sac. Then there's the mid risk, which is what we have, where the twins share placenta but have their own separate sacs. And then there's the high risk twin pregnancy, where there's 1 placenta, 1 sac, and 2 babies. So that's crazy. I can't even imagine like how scary that must be, because even with us finding out that they're sharing a placenta was so scary, because that increased the risk of the twin-to-twin transfusion, because obviously we don't know where the babies are placed. One baby could be placed in the middle, sucking all the nutrients, and the other would be like more towards the side. But
and I think at that point, knowing all of that, then the doc sharing with us that they're not the exact same weight. From the onset, the one was sort of smaller, and she sort of grew behind just like that. So they had that variance in the weight, and he said it's something that we have to constantly monitor, but from what he sees, it's still within its range where everything is good and fine. But yeah, that's what he shared with us, that they're identical, and just a slight variance in the weight. So we were psyched about just getting a bit more detail and knowing that, and also about the cesarean.
Yeah, also like because it was twins, the minute he found out, he was like, okay, so we're gonna have a C-section. And I don't know how I felt about that. I wasn't sure at that point.
She was all about natural birth and stuff like that, and I mean it's something that every woman should want to experience. But she was committed to that stuff. She was like, no, and so she was so disheartened that it was a cesarean. Well, he said that it was going to be a cesarean, and we can understand why, because as it is, it's sort of that risk involved, and it's two babies and so on. But we naturally a woman also can give natural birth for twins, but that's what he said initially. So
I did like all my research. I like basically spent my whole pregnancy, and I kept trying to show him videos, and he didn't want to see.
Ain't nobody want to see that.
But my friends out there, the real friends who I've shared these videos with, thank you. You got me through it. But yeah, it was. I think that was the most daunting thing for me to imagine. Like, now you're already gonna have such a hectic pregnancy, and then the birth is gonna be like this major operation as well. So that's another thing that we weren't prepared for. Boom. Thanks 2020.